Hi guys, Ben Borscht here and welcome to Catch Me. All right, I'm gonna make my jam donut dessert, and this is one of those memories that I used to have as a kid. I loved a raspberry and cream donut from the bakery. They were just the best thing in the world, and I've just sort of come up with this dessert. It's a bit of a play on something that I remember from my childhood. So here we go. We're gonna make a raspberry coulis first, and that's just raspberry and sugar. We're gonna boil it down in the pan. So we've got a pan on. Get some frozen raspberries into the pan. Get them all in there. You wouldn't use fresh raspberries, I don't think. They're just too expensive unless you have a raspberry bush or someone who works in the raspberry industry. Don't bother. Now we're just going to let that sugar melt down and the fruit come back to temperature. We want to get that nice and syrupy and let those raspberries release all their liquid. So we've got a nice, I'd like to say sort of like a jam, but it's more of a sauce and it's not going to be so thick. So when those raspberries begin to thaw, they're just going to start letting off a lot of their liquid, melting into that sugar. And as the sugar dissolves, we'll have a really nice sauce. You can smell those raspberries, they're beautiful. Now, when the raspberries have released all their liquid and become saucy with that sugar, that beautiful icing sugar, we're gonna pass them through a fine sieve and we're gonna give them a good push with the spatula just to catch all those seeds and get all that sauce into a nice big bowl, I suppose. We can then transfer that to a squeezy bottle, or if you just want to leave it in the bowl, we'll use a spoon to get it out later on. Coulis are very easy to make. I think you could use caster sugar if you don't have icing sugar. You could use any berries or fruit that you have lying around. I think if you've got frozen berries in the freezer, that's a really simple way just to jazz up any sort of dessert. Put it on ice cream, put it on your pavlova, put it with your sponge cake, whatever you've got, just make it a lot nicer. Okay, that's almost ready to go. Just give them a little push with the spatula, just to crush them down and release all their liquid. That's pretty much it. All that sugar's dissolved now. Those raspberries are nice and crushed. I can see a lot of seeds in there, and that's where we'll get rid of them, passing them through a sieve. We don't want to let the temperature get to it too much. We just want to keep it nice and controlled and take it off the heat when that's done. We've got our raspberry coulis done, and we're just going to leave that for later on. We're going to get onto our vanilla ice cream now, and I love vanilla ice cream. I'm going to use vanilla ice cream to replace the whipped cream element that would usually be on a jam and cream donut. I think making vanilla ice cream from scratch is a great way of going about it, and I'm lucky enough to have this fantastic bit of machinery here. But if you're unable to get your hands on an ice cream machine, that's okay. Go out and buy yourself some really good quality vanilla ice cream and the dessert will be just as good. We're going to start off, we're going to heat our pan up, our saucepan up. And I've got milk and cream in there. And if you want the recipe, you can download my ebook from my website. We want to make sure we get all of that. We don't want to waste anything, as much of that as possible. We've got some glucose syrup as well. And it's pretty sticky stuff, glucose. It's really going to make that ice cream nice and luxurious. get it all out of there. We've got some vanilla essence. You can use vanilla paste, vanilla beans, and scrape the seeds out. I just find it's easier. You don't have all the little black lumps, black seeds in your vanilla ice cream later on, just to use vanilla essence. And that's some good quality vanilla essence too, so don't worry about that. We want to bring this cream mixture just to below boiling point. So I don't think that's going to take too long. We've got it on a high heat. And we'll just get it there as quickly as possible. Okay, we'll leave that just for a moment. What we're going to do is prepare some egg yolks and sugar. And we're just going to make a simple anglaise. So putting some sugar in with our egg yolks. We want to work pretty quickly here because the sugar will start to cook the egg yolks. Just whisk that up. It's nice and thick and pale. And if you are going to make this at home, I always tend to use a metal bowl for this step. It just saves on washing up later on. I'm going to transfer the cream mixture into this bowl. Then I'm going to take the combined egg yolk, sugar and cream and put it back in the saucepan. But then I want to put it back into that metal bowl and cool it down as quickly as possible before putting it into the ice cream churn. So save yourself some washing up. Okay, we're almost there. We're almost at boiling point. This is where I just put a tea towel down underneath my bowl, just so I don't have to hold it at the same time. Just frees up one of my hands to use. Make sure those egg yolks and sugar are well incorporated. Now we're going to take our cream mixture and whisk it into our egg yolks and sugar. Just a little bit at a time. Very gradually and slowly, more and more. Okay, we're going to put that back into the pan now. I've got to bring the anglaise mixture up to 82 degrees. So I've got my thermometer here. I think it's best to use a digital thermometer. I know that back in the old days or previously, people would have used the old method of using a wooden spoon, and when you run your finger down the back of a wooden spoon and it separates the anglaise, that it's ready to go. But I think this is just a little bit more accurate than what they used to do back then. So we're at 51 now, 57. It's getting there very quickly. And we want to have an ice bath ready straight after, so we can put our bowl straight over an ice bath and get it cooled down as quickly as possible. All right, we're at 81 degrees there. You can hear that going off. We've got our magic ice bath here that just miraculously appeared on time. We're just going to pour our anglaise into that. What we will do is strain that through a fine sieve before putting that into the ice cream machine, just to take out any little lumps that we might have picked up along the way. Get rid of that pan, and we need to continuously keep stirring our anglaise over the ice bath just to cool it down as quickly as possible. Once we've got our anglaise cooled down, we're just going to put it into the ice cream churn and let it do its thing. For my jam donut dessert, I'm going to knock up a little bit of cinnamon sugar. You could just buy this from the shops, but I think it's just nice being homemade. So in my food and spice grinder, I've got a cinnamon quill that I've just broken up. Just add a little bit more. I think about half a cinnamon quill in there. Just give that a good knock. Give that a little shake. Let's try and get that as fine as possible. Okay. We're just going to put our powdered cinnamon through a fine sieve to make sure we don't get any big lumps. That's great. A little spoon. For the donut element of my jam cream donut dessert, I've made up some little brioche bread loaves, and for you at home, I think you could just go out and buy yourself a loaf of brioche. You can get them at any good supermarket. And I think just cutting them up, cutting the crust off and cutting them up into little loaves is exactly the same. We want to heat our pan up and add a little bit of butter into there. So we'll get our pan on. Pan on. Get some butter in, a nice knob of butter. Get that melted down. Brioche already has a lot of butter in it, but we want to make sure that our cinnamon sugar coats the entire loaf of brioche. Let that butter start just to bubble a little bit. And that pan's pretty hot, so we're going to get them in straight away. And I think we'll just start rotating them immediately so that all sides get coated in butter. And we just want to give them a little toast off, get them nice and warm right the way through. Dip them on either end. Okay, we can get the heat off. Get them over into our sugar. Just going to roll them in that sugar. Just get them nice and coated on all sides. Our ice cream's done, and I reckon that looks really great. We just want to get the paddle out. Just use a spoon to get all that ice cream off the paddle. Leave it all in the bowl. It's always my favorite part, licking the paddle. That is terrible. All right, it's time to plate up. We'll take one of our brioche loaves, get it on the plate. Just going to use an ice cream scoop. I don't think it's necessary to do a quenelle at all. Put that to the side. We've got our raspberry coulis that we made before that I've put into a squeezy bottle. I think we'll just get that nicely on the plate all over the donut and the ice cream. And I've got some freeze-dried raspberries here that I'd just like to sprinkle on top. Dust over the whole dessert. I think finish it off nicely. And there it is, my raspberry donut dessert. Thanks for joining me. You can find all my recipes at benborsch.com.au.